right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. You are still tuned in to Funtastic Fridays, and we're in the segment called Talk the Ting with Kim. Big up Tori Cassels. Thank you for joining. All right, so guys, if it is that you are just joining us, we are discussing the importance of building self-esteem in your kids, right? Last week we did a part 1, which was overall the importance of building self-esteem. But with the whole back to school theme and the relevancy of it in Jamaica, we're also discussing the importance of building self-esteem in your kids. So far we have discussed what self-esteem is, different ways it impacts the children, whether it's positively or negatively, signs of a good self-esteem and signs of a bad self-esteem, right? So now you may be asking yourself, how do I build the self-esteem of my kids? Sound like a simple question, right? Mm-hmm. Not as simple as you think. Simply praising your child can actually do more harm than good. So the same thing Lionel was just saying, where you just praise them for nothing at all. Then probably never even try, but you're like, you know what? Good job. You get it next time. But you never did something to tell them you get it next time, right? So here's a simple guide on how to build self-confidence in a child. Number 1. The one, you know, whole heap of parents are going to struggle with it. Number 1 is simply step back.
What?
Take a step back.
Go whisper. Hold on there.
Right? So as it turns out, there are better ways to build self-esteem than heaping on praise for everything kids do. Starting with helping them become competent in the world, right? So this is one of the things. Take a step back, help them to become more competent in the world. To do so, though, you have to learn to step back and let your child take risks, make choices, solve problems, and stick with anything that they start, right? So these are things now, a lot of parents, I realize, and boy, I have to say I struggle with this too, because when my son feels around, you know, if he's doing something and I think it's gonna harm him, I jump in and I'm like, hey, let me pour the juice for you, let me lift up that for you, you know. But I realize no, that's not helping. If they pour the juice and it spill, make it spill.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta learn from something. You're not gonna make them down the entire juice on the floor.
No, you're not gonna do that. But guess what? That can happen too, you know.
Yeah.
It can happen. That's the reality.
Yeah,
right?
But you know.
And same so recently a child was washing dishes and was like, can I wash the dishes? And my first I was like, no, man, I have it out. I'm nothing but glass. You know? And I said, hold on, Kim, you're not allowing them to grow. So of course, with my supervision, I was like, come, you can watch, you know, and I watched everything and they did pretty well, you know. So I was there thinking them probably can't manage the plate and probably can't that. I mean, they did it in their own way, but the reality is you have to give them room to do what they have to do. They have to learn these things too, you know. So as we say, you have to learn to step back and let your child take risks, make choices, solve problems, and stick with what they start. So even if it is that them drop, let them drop and get the bruise. That's the reality. That is how we learn, you know. So allow them to do so. If it is that you agree, disagree in your feelings, let me know, whether you're on the WhatsApp or if it is that you're on the Instagram Live. All right. Number 2, another way to help to build self-confidence in your children. Overpraising kids does more harm than good.
Okay.
Right? Self-esteem comes from feeling loved and secure, and from developing competence. Although parents often shower their kids with the first 2 ingredients, which is love and security, competence, which in a nutshell is becoming good at something, takes time and effort. So competence don't just develop because you tell them, good job. You know, you actually have to ensure that they practice and get good at something, right? So as much as we want to, we can't praise our kids into competence. Let that one sink in.
And right now, as Curtis, I agree, sometimes it's hard to watch them, but they have to learn.
But they have to learn, because you know what you know now, because you've gone through a lot.
You learn right? Things on your own.
Exactly. So, as I said, I'm going to repeat this line because I think it's so integral. As much as we want to, we can't praise our kids into competence.
Yeah, you can't.
So you can't keep rewarding them, and cause I think that's what we're taught, that just encourage them in everything. Just encourage them. No, you're going to encourage them, but you also have to be real.
Yeah, and you have to put some action towards it. So
exactly.
you can't just watch them not do the work and say, hey,
yeah, good job. Next time you get, or this just wasn't for you. You never feel up to it. No, right? There are things in life that you're not going to feel up to, but you still have to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality. So, in fact, by overpraising kids, we're doing more harm than good. We're lowering the bar for them. So let that sink in as well, right? We're lowering the bar for them. So when you accept everything and praise them for everything, them not really have no standards for really aim for, you know, because if them sneeze, oh my god,
the bar very low, so they're gonna keep very low.
Exactly. So, and that's how they're going to become as adults. They're just going to accept almost anything because they never had high standards to work towards, right? So if you keep telling your child he or she is already doing a fantastic job, you're saying they no longer need to push themselves. That's the reality. Everything you big them up for, you're saying, boy, you reach. You know, nothing for work fun, right? Confidence comes from doing, from trying and failing and trying again. Right. Some competence and confidence comes from practice.
Definitely. And Akati says here, I pay my son to learn. It works. And then the word I want to replace pay with is reward. But definitely, I mean, you have to find ways to get your kids actively involved, engaged. I mean, for every, just like how they say, for every A you get, you know, $1,000, you know, and so on, B, 500. You find your ways to get them to see that, you know, doing good pays, basically, or it's rewarded. Not just, you know, we're not just going to buy latest shoes because you want it. Are you performing at a rate where you deserve to be rewarded?
And that's the reality. If that is what they consider their reward, you as a parent can deem that as not good enough, you know. Right? So if them say, boy, mommy, I want the shoes. Then that is just the deal. So you have to work with what they deem as valuable.
Yeah, and you set up the task to say, all right, okay, shoes.
All right, fine. Since you want the shoes,
let's see what we can do to get there.
Exactly. Simple. Right? So constant complimenting can actually erode self-esteem. Did y'all think about that?
Constant compliment. Yeah, because it can become big. Like,
monotonous. I don't know whether I do good or not, right?
That's like telling somebody I love you after every, you know, phone call, just standard. Or after every minute, just standard. I love you. After a while, you just come like it and say nothing. You know, it loses its meaning. You have to ensure what you're communicating is true to the moment. Not just because we say it every minute.
Exactly. So either kids start thinking they're perfect or they try to be perfect all the time, which is an impossible standard. And it's important to note that inaccurate praise confuses children. If your child can't spell and you tell them they're doing well, they learn not to trust their own instincts because, you know, you can tell when you're doing something wrong. They're like, they seem off. And you're probably looking at facial expressions around you. But if you over there as a parent, yeah, man, you're doing good. Keep going. Eventually, they can't read, you know, facial expressions. Be like, okay, this is a sign that I'm not doing this correctly. People looking at me weird, you know?
Yeah, not only that you get 1 out of 10 and like, oh my gosh, get me buy this for you.
For what? Exactly, lowering the bar. So they learn not to trust their own instincts, and they also learn that praise is just flat out lying.
Yeah, that's not true.
Let them evaluate, right? Number 3, let your child take healthy risks. So this ties into what Carty said, that sometimes rough for just watch him and see him make the mistake, but you have to do it. So as we said, healthy risk though. So we're not gonna say you're gonna make him run up and down with a knife and say, you know, we just hope for the best. You have to learn new.
Right? Erica says, tell them the truth. And it works. I don't know if Kim have it on the other end of the spectrum, but it works both ways.
Yeah.
So you don't just give them gifts and prizes and reward them for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of that, you don't tell them that you're going to reward them if they do good. And when they do good,
you don't reward them.
So them are going to say, listen, me, this don't make no sense. Whether I do this or not, me not get what you say anyway. So, you know, so that breaks them down.
Unless you're going to use like a one occasion to teach them that's how life can be.
No, that's rough. As a parent,
I said one occasion, not regularly.
As a parent, you should be the one teaching the child some dishonesty.
No, not dishonesty, but you're like, listen, sometimes you expect something and it doesn't work out that way.
That is dishonesty. If you tell the parent, say, when the house clean, when you come out clean, when you come home, the house should be clean, and you will bring them KFC. And the child don't clean up the whole of the house.
I
They come there with your long hand.
and then I'm gonna sit with you instead, baby. You have to understand. Sometimes life disappoints
Child
you,
will lose trust in you.
and
assure you.
life, which is reality.
You better fix that the next time immediately or the following day. But may I tell you, if you do that a second time, may I tell you, man?
I'm just
a
saying it's a
problem
way as
child.
well. I wouldn't make a habit of
Exactly.
it. But if it does, alright, so let's say it genuinely does happen. You probably forget the KFC
One time, yes.
one time.
Yes.
And then you come and talk. And you say, boy, life happen, but you make a fight some other way.
Exactly.
Alright?
So you have to correct that. Because here, Erica says, you have to let them know you make mistakes too.
Two. That's what I'm saying. Be
But
real.
child talk about why you don't that's your life, bro.
I would have did that. God knows. I said, boy.
That child is going to look for you and say, life, and you make you promise me.
Yes.
We never come up with no reward or no guessing or nothing. You come up with
Yes,
reward.
but I'm trying to teach
don't
you
do
how life can be.
The child
I
will-
think it's valid.
The child will teach you something next time you come home. You see, oh, it's worse than it was the first time.
Listen, listeners, let me know if you don't agree with me. Like, I think say it's valid.
Tim, I'm not saying you're not going to teach your child that sometimes things don't work out. But you, as a person who made a promise to the
A
child,
commitment. Okay, fair.
have to fulfill
Because if you don't fulfill it, you're also teaching them that
Exactly.
breaking commitments are
Exactly.
okay. So fair.
laugh for them.
Fair.
As if you're going to say to you, actually, they're the bigger person will do that to you.
Yeah, that's
They will
true.
bully somebody else.
That is
What?
true.
Not tell you.
Alright.
You, man. Let them know you make a mistake. Boy, you know, say, I forget.
But make up
mistakes as
faith. I'm
well.
gonna compensate.
But yeah, exactly.
Alright. So
There you go.
as we said, let your child take healthy risks. Start by forcing yourself, and yes, I use these words intentionally, forcing yourself to once again stand back while your child takes healthy risks.
All right.
To build confidence in the world, kids have to take chances, make choices, and take responsibility for those choices. Too many parents try to rescue their kids from failure all the time. A mother shared a story that they remembered staring from across a room as her 2-year-old son lifted a huge jug of orange juice at a party. He was about to pour it into a glass and she just stood there holding her breath rather than trying to save her son before he had a chance to try. The mother watched as her son spilled the juice all over the floor. Oh no, I lost my page. Yes, all over the floor. Then came the best part. Her son found a waitress, asked for a paper towel, and cleaned up his own mess.
All right, there you go.
He solved his own problem just like we do as successful adults. So it's not that they should never make a mistake, you know. But you also want to teach them what to do when you make a mistake. That's the reality. So in this instance, at 2, he knew, okay, I can't leave this mess here. You know, you never run to mommy neither and say, mommy, because
Right.
mommy's not. You
And
don't see
never
mommy as
run
the
left
fixer.
the mess.
You never run left it.
Yeah.
You never leave it alone and figure, say, oh, that's fine, because mommy always clean up after me.
Mhm.
You never run to mommy and say, mommy, this happened, we need to fix it. He fixed it on his own. Went found someone that he was even a stranger. He even knew who to go to, the waitress, and said, can I get this and clean it up, you know? So that's a sign that that child probably is on a good road to good self-esteem.
Yeah. I mean,
And solving his own problems, right? So, number 4, let kids make their own choices. So, you may have heard this a few times already, right? When kids make their own age-appropriate choices, so let me throw that in.
And like
So when-
Kim says, healthy mistakes.
Yes, healthy risks.
But jump off on no rule.
Yes, and say, boy,
That's
you
not
need to
good
learn.
health.
No. So, you let your kids make age-appropriate choices. So, it can be like picking your outfit.
Yeah.
It can be like, for example, you might tell them, say, boy, you need to wear something warmer, but for some reason them feel like, no, that's not necessary.
Yeah,
Listen, make them do it. Make them do it. And they're gonna learn. That's
Yeah.
the reality.
And then
They're
you put
gonna
it in them
learn.
bag, probably put something in them bag.
Exactly.
Check your bag.
Exactly, because you know what's to
Yeah,
come,
yeah.
right? So, kids when kids make their own age-appropriate choices, they feel more powerful. So that's where them get that independence and them know who they are and they know what they want kind of feeling, right? Kids as young as 2 can start considering the consequences of their decisions.
Right. And Carty says, well, that young man will be a very helpful man. As soon as children are able to, they
Yeah.
should learn to clean up their own mess. And yeah,
Exactly.
you show them how it's done and then you give them a chance to
Give them a
participate
chance, yes.
until you can say, boy, all right, you can do it now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not just make them sit down in the mess and expect them to figure out.
Or
how
clean
to
up
do it.
for them.
Or
That's
just
another
always clean up
problem.
for them.
Cause
So,
our parents do
yeah.
that, right? So, as we were saying earlier, kids as young as 2 can start considering the consequences of their decisions. Let kids decide on their own whether to wear a coat, hat, and mittens in winter.
Yeah.
Once they know the difference between warm and cold, it can be up to them.
Yeah.
They should have control over their bodies and take responsibility for their choices. It's natural to want to protect your child from failure, but trial and error is how kids learn.
Talking about that, Erica says she made her son buy his own shoes. And guess what? He bought a shoe that was as big as a boat. And he had to live with it for that. So, you see, I mean, they're going to learn from it.
They're going to learn.
They're going to learn.
Right? Yeah. So, trial and error is how kids learn. So, in this case, that was a major error. Yeah. But it will know next time. We either seek guidance or have a plan.
And then you teach them, look, a plan. Jamaicans say the shoe is big. Just stuff it.
Just stuff it. You're growing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So falling short on a goal help kids find out that it's not fatal when they make mistakes or they slip up. It can also spur kids to greater effort, which will serve them well as adults. Number 5. Let them help around the house. So this one spoke to me with the whole dishes situation, right? In building self-esteem, kids also need opportunities to demonstrate their competence and feel that their contributions are valuable. So that's actually why lots of young kids, once them see there's something, they want to help. If you sweep, they want to jump in. If you wash clothes, they want to jump in. And if you hang out clothes, they want to jump in.
That's the best time to get them active. They're enthusiastic.
And
they're willing to learn.
So make them learn.
Hey, back in the day, I'm telling you, man.
You want to do everything till you understood what you were doing, and then know your parents have to beg you.
I mean, me and my brother were pretty close to the age, so we have to do things either both at the same time or something. But my little sister now, she's a good little difference from me. When she come, I just give her the map. It wasn't done properly, but at least some of the work saved. she does give me the map. All right, go ahead.
Fine, go ahead. Save me some time.
Yeah, what you doing?
Right? So at home, that means asking them, even when they're toddlers, to help with cooking. So you're not telling them cut up the chicken or nothing, but you can tell them you can get me
pass
something,
me
or the pot if you can, him or she can manage a pot, or you can count out. You have the egg them on the counter. You can count out 6 eggs for me. Little stuff like that. No, them not for lift it, but count it.
Count on eggs.
And 6 more ones, can you count out 6? Exactly. Stuff like that. Get them involved, right? Setting the table and making their beds, right?
Pass me the pillow. Put on the cover on the pillow.
Or help me neaten this out. So you ensure it's age appropriate, right?
I can't say, boy, I shouldn't know, but sports day at basic or prep school, you see a number of them at that time even unable to put on their shoes.
Exactly.
Or you see is left and right.
Exactly. So you have to allow them to make the mistake. Every time them do left and right, you fix it. Right? So them know how uncomfortable it is to be in the wrong. But them know. And them know say you soon come around, come fix it, right? So you have to teach them. Now, number 6, encourage them to pursue their interests. Another surefire way to boost confidence in kids is to encourage them to take on tasks they show interest in. Then make sure they follow through to completion. So that's also important, right? So you can't pick up tasks everywhere, and I drop it everywhere, so like some adults I know. So a bit like me sometimes.
But these are things that, as I said, they carry through from they're older.
And that's why we're focusing on the kids right now, because we're trying to make it a bit easier for them for the future. Them not forgot you to struggle like we,
And hear them now with the child now. No man, it's my child, him get anything he wants, me spoil him, so nobody can.
And they brag about that.
And then what when the child reach age 16
and take 17, everything for granted and want everything.
Not even summer job you can get them go. Cause guess why? When I work for?
When my summer job, you can't even get them make them bed.
Exactly. Right? As I'm saying, no, I'm talking about when they get into adult life.
Okay.
Them don't want to work. Them got a one job today, by tomorrow is the next job. Them a look again. Cause them, me not like that place there. What wrong with it? None of them can explain nothing to you. And them not have that drive. You don't instill that in them so that they have to work to get
and they
what they
commit
want.
to something.
Because you say, boy, you spoil them.
Yes.
So them spoil now.
Exactly. So you have to make sure they follow through to completion. It doesn't matter what the task is. It could be anything from swimming laps, drawing a picture, learning to dance, or even beating a level on a video game.
Yeah.
You encourage them. Yeah, man,
well,
even that.
Well, that's
a lot of parents, if they're into it, if they're into it, because of course moderation, but if they're within the allotted time, you say, all right, you can play for an hour,
man, go on again.
and they want to beat the level, you encourage them.
You know, we need
exactly. Try something different.
Let's see what you do.
Exactly. Or you give them a tip. Why not try this instead? You know, but you encourage them to see it to completion, right? The point is for them to stick with what they start, so they feel that hit of accomplishment at the end. All right. Number 7, make sure your child's goals are within reach at a level appropriate for their ability. Right? So that may mean suggesting they join the Little League where they can feel like a star. Rather than being the last one picked for a senior league team, right? Another mother learned this lesson when her son was in grade 2. Feeling like a failure at reading, her son was ready to give up on reading. Then one day, she brings home some books that were slightly below her son's level. He read one every 2 days and was so proud of himself that he went on to read the entire Goosebumps series without a problem. After her son's achievements, they talked about how her son's choice to practice paid off, and she praised his perseverance, right? So sometimes you have to adjust. It's not about you get them what's at their level and you're like, boy, you know, get it. You just nug, you know, on them.
As you said, the start one there, number 1. Sometimes you have to step back and look at the situation. Yeah, beat the ABC that the child had and realize, say, okay, he's more better with numbers. You find a number way to teach him the alphabet. Somehow, some way. Right here, Erica says number 7 is good, and she also says, well, I mean, we are the ones who create the monsters and unleash them onto society. Which is true. I mean, how you see the parents go, some of the kids, is how they're gonna react out in the road, but they don't know, because at home them getting the good side, because they might say, all right, this, do what you want. And when they go out there and do what they want,
then
different thing.
Exactly. Number 8, offer appropriate praise. Although praise is often misused, when it's specific and earned, it's a valuable self-esteem builder. A former music teacher remembers asking her choir students to keep a brag file full of praises they earned. Anytime they saw their names in a program or newspaper article or received a complimentary note, they were to put it inside. And when the kids had a bad day, they would take out those words of praise and read all the neat things they had done or achieved. And it would make them feel better about themselves, right? And also when it is that you are encouraging your kids, be more specific. It's important to note that practice is really what you should be. The practice behind whatever they've achieved, the effort they've made is really what you should be praising, right? So it encourages them to keep working. So that should be the focus of the praise. Don't just say, great play. Tell them it was awesome how they passed the ball to their teammate, or I really like how you formed that letter. I realize that you're getting really good at the S's, you know. You're more specific. It's not just good job. Good job at what? What did they do?
I'm tired of good job.
Right? So you have to keep in mind as well that a little indirect praise can work wonders too. Another mother ensures that her kids overhear a little boasting. She would tell her friends on the phone how the teacher said her daughter is so kind, or how she saw her son working so hard at tying his shoes. Since they were spying, they know she means it and she's not just trying to make them feel good. So sometimes the indirect praise as well, so they know that you're not just telling them to make them feel good. They literally chat about them and they're like, hold on, mommy think this about me? You know, so it actually helps them to feel better. And
well, before we get to the final one, and even that, you see, sometimes we are not telling, or we're not belittling our kids to their faces. So you do right there, so the child there do the homework, and you do right there, so we carry. Why carry the man? The boy just done this.
It does not get you. I'm tired.
Right. So the child is still hearing that. So just like Kimmie said, you're giving the praises. You give them directly to the child, and also ensure that you're praising the child away from them so that them hear you tell and
Yeah.
them. When, as soon as you turn them back, now you start talking against them.
Because I'm sure everything then do bad, you overhear that. I promise you.
Yeah, man.
You know, so so never be it today. You hear all of these things, right? So we need to be more cognizant of how we use our words and what we say around our kids, because it does reflect in who they are as adults, all right? And then the final one, number 9, make clear that your love is unconditional.
Oh, number 10?
No, that is stopping at number 9.
All right.
Let your children know you love them even when they fail or make bad decisions.
Well, I guess this one is what Eric was talking about.
Right.
She said her son was doing well in the spelling bee, but his friend failed, and he didn't want to continue competing because his friend dropped out. So he spelled a word wrong and stepped. So she said it was then she had to step back.
And let him fail, right?
That, hey.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she have got that team.
And talk to him as well. So, you know, give up your achievement, but you know? So that's a whole discussion.
Yeah, because sometimes you winning can be a great motivation for your friend.
And can encourage your friend to jump back on the wagon, right?
Because you can't make your friend feel like you just feel with your friend. So you have to step back. Look at the situation and find a way.
And yes, how to get the message across.
Go cross while I'm going to tell you must go cross eat it. Because you know you spell that cat word there.
All the time. Get it right every day. Right? So as I said, let your children know you love them even when they fail or make bad decisions. If all you talk about is performance, they will think you only love them for their report card or for the race that they won on sports day. So, whether they win or lose the big game, whether their grades are good or bad, even when you're mad at them, so in that instance, even when you're mad, make sure your child knows that you think they're great and not just when they do great things. This will bolster their self-worth even when they're not feeling good about themselves.
God, they just need guidance.
Just need little guidance, exactly. Yeah. So even when them are do wrong, make them know so the love is still there. And it's not dependent on them achieving stuff. Because that can also deter kids.
Of course.
If that case, so I not achieve, I not spell the word right, I not get the maths right. I'm going to think, mommy not love me, daddy not love me, I don't matter.
And then when you say, go in their room, right after them can do the thing. Like you know,
it's like you hammer it. You hammer the thought no, you know?
Yeah.
So guys, that is it for Talk the Ting with Kim. I hope it was an insightful conversation.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for keeping us company throughout the segment. Keep us interactive. We love the comments. We love the views.
Yes,
next week,
love the feedback.
Be sure to invite a friend. Tell you, we want the thing big enough. So let's rope in everybody next week. Yeah?
So guys, stay safe. See you next week. Same time, same place. 5 to 8 p.m. on Newstalk 93 FM.
Right, safe travels out there. Have a fantastic weekend. We're out.